Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Steve Matheny. I'm the Executive Director of the Granville Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here tonight with Mary Tuomanen from the League of Women Voters of Licking County, and with our candidates for the Granville Township trustee race. With us tonight, Ben Barton is candidate, as is William Hoekstra, and as also is Leonard Hubert. And I want folks to be aware, we did invite all candidates to participate tonight, and we did get acceptance from all candidates. Unfortunately, it appears Leonard's not able to be with us tonight, but he was invited and he did accept our invitation. So the way we will proceed this evening, this forum is hosted by the Granville Chamber Alliance, also the League of Women Voters of Licking County, and Denison University's Community Leadership and Involvement Center. All of us, those three organizations are nonpartisan organizations, meaning that these organizations, do not endorse candidates or political parties. We are nonpartisan. Tonight's proceedings is a forum. It is not a debate. The candidates will respond to questions that were submitted from the community. They will each respond to 3 questions, and they have been provided those questions in advance, so they did have an opportunity to review the questions that may be asked. The format will be that each candidate will provide a 2-minute opening statement, and then each candidate in turn has 1.5 minutes to respond to a question that has been provided to candidates in advance. We follow this same procedure with a second question, and then again with a third question. Each candidate at the end will offer a 1.5 minute closing statement. We also tonight have a designated timekeeper with us. Amy's with us tonight to keep track of our timing. And we did draw names earlier to determine who would be the first to offer an opening statement. And Bill Hoekstra was chosen to be that individual. Just a couple of reminders before we start. We have asked, and I'll ask again, please, for candidates to please turn off, not simply silence, but to turn off cell phones during the forum. And the Federal Communication Commission requires that audio and video recordings of this event must not be edited and must be broadcast in their entirety, except by media reporting on events or for nonpartisan voter education. Therefore, no candidate will use or edit the recording for campaign purposes. And then by October 10th, that's this Friday, the recording of the forum may be viewed on the League of Women Voters of Licking County website or the League of Women Voters of Licking County's Facebook page. So there will be a recording available after tonight or later in the week. And then, just as background for the Granville Township trustee race, the length of term for trustees is 4 years, and there are 3 candidates running for 2 positions as township trustee. Okay, so now I will turn, please, to William Hoekstra, and you are invited to make a 2-minute opening statement. And Bill, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Denison University for being here, the League of Women Voters and the Chamber. We appreciate the opportunity. We have a wonderful community that's off and running. I've had the privilege to be the small town undertaker here until 2023. My wife Mary and I lived here in the village, continue to live in the village, and be part of this community. I've seen the wonderful, it just has given us such an opportunity, a lot of support from the community. I see nothing but good in the community. And since I don't have the constraints of the funeral home and that type of business, that gives me the opportunity to give back to the folks that have taken care of us all the years. So I'm viewing this opportunity to serve as a trustee to give back and do that. I'm coming to this with no specific agenda other than to serve, represent all of Granville, Village, and the Township, and just see that things are done. This is nonpartisan, and I simply just want what is best for Granville. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again to the League of Women Voters, the Chamber, and Denison for hosting this event. I appreciate it. I'm honored, always a little nervous, to stand here and discuss the future of our beloved Granville. For those of you who don't know me, again, I'm Ben Barton. I am a 50-year resident of Granville, moved here in the 4th grade. Mrs. Malika, if you're out there, good to see you again. I'm running for trustee really to preserve what we all know and love about Granville and its rural character for the most part. The rolling Welsh Hills, the farmlands on Loudon, Berg, and Cambria Mill are the roads I grew up on as a kid, and they're changing, but not dramatically, and I'd like to keep it that way. It's going to take quite a bit of work over the next several years to keep that the way it is right now. The coming decade brings several challenges, but equal opportunity as well. We face growing pressures from outside development, quite a bit of population growth, just as we have for the past century, and we will in the future too. We just need to learn how to manage that effectively and properly. We're blessed to have, the leaders we have right now in the township amongst our like Travis and cemeteries and roads. We got Casey in the fire department. I mean, we are, and Jerry Miller as our fiscal officer. We are blessed to have those guys doing the hard work of the township. And I think as a trustee, our job really is to manage the managers. And I look forward to serving with those that are elected this coming term and into the future. Thank you.
First question, and Ben, you'll be speaking first to this, is what is your vision for the community in 10 years? How would it be similar to or different from the current community? And if elected, what specific actions would you take to help make your vision a reality?
So a decade is nothing. I mean, truly, 10 years in the course of the history of Granville is such a small period of time. I don't see a lot of change. I think there'll be a lot of pressure for change. But I think, between the work we've done in the past, the zoning regulations, and our commitment to open space, I really do feel that we have a pretty firm grasp on what happens next. With regard to development, I think that will be an issue. I made a comment in one of the opening pieces here that he who controls the water controls the future, and that's a big deal. And we're going to have outside pressure for water issues. And between working with, the power brokers in Granville, Denison, the village, the schools, the township, I think we're all relatively on the same page. So I want to keep those lines of communication open. I want to make sure we're all working together to keep Granville the way it is and the way we see it moving forward.
Granville has a very solid framework. We're very fortunate to have the people we do, the human resources that we do, the collaboration, the consensus. 2 years before they arrived in 1805 here, they planned this community, and they've done an exceptional job. I've agreed totally with Ben with the township managers that are in place as far as previously trustees, also the people leading the fire department, Casey, Travis, on the roads. They don't need to be micromanaged. They do an excellent job. Their staffs do an excellent job. My vision, I think, I would like to see us maybe utilize some of our spaces a little bit better, take more advantage of some of the resources we have, whether it's Raccoon Creek down at the park, developing something with that creek, whether it's kayaking, fishing, to enhance the lives here. I think that's important. Sidewalks along Weaver Drive in that area as that develops and grows. We need to plan, and we need to work collaboratively with the surrounding communities. We need to get a little more engaged at the county so they understand and work with them to build a consensus and trust. I think that's where we're headed. I think we have a solid past and we have a very bright future.
Gentlemen, our second question for each of you. Briefly describe the role and responsibilities of a township trustee. What experience, skills, and beliefs do you have that make you an exceptional candidate for this position? Please give specific examples. Ben, if you'd start.
Sure. So the roles of a trustee, again, as I said previously, I think we are, by definition, trustees. So we are not lawmakers. We manage what's out in front of us. We make proclamations, I guess. We make resolutions to manage the township. But we are a group of people who manage managers. So there's not a lot we can do, but township trustees in Ohio manage fire departments, cemeteries, roads, and zoning for the most part. A few other things that are out there, but we don't manage here, police departments being one. But that's essentially what a township trustee does. With regard to experience, I've run a financial services business for the last 35 years. Inside of that business, one of our core components was health insurance for medium-sized groups. With that, for 20 years, I managed several townships in Franklin County on their health insurance. So I've learned to work with township trustees, their employees, and negotiate with insurance companies through the years. So I think just on that piece alone, I think I have a little advantage over some others, and it's helpful to the township.
I come from a service industry, and specifically the funeral service industry, with a 36-year career working in sales, also hands-on, what we call an at-need funeral director, serving the public and taking care of those needs. So as a township trustee, we're responsible for three things. We're responsible for the roads, we're responsible for the cemetery, and the fire department. And it's important to understand the trustees are a working board. There are three people that are in that position. So what I can bring to that position is my time and devotion. I have that time and ability to do that. I certainly understand the cemetery. I've been involved in the development of that, whether it's with the veterans or the green space, or the green burial movement, the cremation, the niche walls, and those things. Roads, I have experience growing up around farm equipment in rural communities, operating machinery. I understand that. But I think we both agree that there are people in place to manage those things. So we need to be overlooking, overreaching. I am very comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Grief is tough. I've dealt with people. I have partnerships and relationships that I can bring to the table as we work to better our community.
So our third question is about the environment and sustainability. And Bill, we'll ask you to speak first on this one. What is your vision of sustainability and the environmental future of the community? How is your vision different from or similar to current environmental policies being implemented at the local level? And last, what specific policies would you support or would you oppose?
This community has a history of sustainability and being aware of things, whether it's through recycling or recently with the solar and the development and what Denison has done with the solar fields, the working groups in the village as far as housing, incorporating that, working with the village to develop those things. Again, there's a solid framework here in place that does not need to be disrupted. I continue to support that. The green space is very important to me. The wisdom and vision that the people had to do that, that's why we're in the position we are in. To expand that, I believe we need to start to collaborate with other municipalities. I see them. That is a problem. They don't necessarily always want to work with Granville, and with things coming from Western Licking County, we're going to have to consider the capital that's behind that. And that's money and power that we've never seen before. So we're going to have to reach outside of ourselves and work together with others to move forward with that sustainability.
These are good questions, and it's difficult. I mean, I've not been involved with government really at all. I mean, this is a first I think for both of us, really. But with regard to Granville and sustainability, you know, I was around when they started the Superfund site at the paint manufacturer down below Cherry Street Bridge. That's been a mess, and it's ongoing. It is not resolved to this day, which has been really disappointing from a state level and federal level. I don't know if we have the firepower to get some of this stuff done. I know there's a project out at McPeak Lodge right now with lead remediation. I think that one is under control and ready to open back up. So, you know, props to those who were working on that process over the last couple of years. With regard to, you know, Denison solar panels, solar fields, I'm learning more about that and how they are recapturing and selling back, leasing back some of the stored power that they've gotten. So that's a positive. Going forward, you know, I think, you know, keeping things the way they are is a plus. Open space lands, I think overall has been a win. I think going forward we need to be more focused on what we need and where we need it. So.
Thank you both. We're now come to our closing statement, part of the proceedings. And each candidate will have 1.5 minutes for a closing statement. And Ben, I will have you go first, if you would, please.
Thank you. Again, thanks to our partners in putting this program together. I appreciate the opportunity to be invited to the, I gotta get this right, the Community Leadership and Involvement Center. You guys, thank you very much for hosting us. It's been a pleasure to be here. Hopefully, we gave you a little bit of insight to what to look for and how this thing works as Township trustees. You know, again, my backstory and 50 years of being here hopefully says a lot about what I want going forward. I mean, the town hasn't changed dramatically, even though it has incrementally, you know, so, but I can go back and talk about gravel roads that are paved now, and that's what Travis and I spoke about a couple days ago. I grew up on a gravel road. It's now fully paved. The township is fully paved, to my knowledge. There might be some chip and seal out there. But overall, it's been a phenomenal community to grow up in, to raise my children in. And I look forward to serving you in the future. So thank you again, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. And now, Bill, closing statement, please.
Thank you again for having us, and those watching, I appreciate it. We're pretty blessed to not have the problems that we don't have. And I think that's important to understand. And to sit here and have a discussion and be able to say we don't have anything really pressing, we're very fortunate. I don't believe we take that fortunateness lightly. Again, there's an awful lot of effort and collaboration and community that pulls together. I would like to represent you. I would ask for your vote. I would hope that you would vote. People know where I live. They know my phone number. They know my email. I'm downtown in the village. I'm out in the township. You can find me. I'm straightforward, honest, forthcoming, transparent, and I don't have a problem with tough conversations. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you when I don't know. I have an awful lot to learn in this role. I expect to do that through the Ohio Township Association, and what I've learned in going forward, we need to move forward with legislatively. We need to look to Ohio. As we discussed, the townships are kind of governed by Ohio Revised Code. We're overseers of that. But boy, do we need to get active and look to making some changes there, changes that could impact our schools positively, not having other cities dump their students into our district. There's a lot of other things that we can do in that regard. We need to look at the infrastructure and do those. So I'm looking forward to learning and growing in this position. And again, you know where to find me, and please call. Thank you.
Thank you both. That really brings us to conclusion of the Township trustee portion of tonight's candidate forum. I want to especially thank both of you, Ben and Bill, both of you, for your time tonight and sharing your views and thoughts and feelings. We greatly appreciate that. Helps us as voters make our decisions on who we should have representing us. So thank you both again. And thank you to our viewers. We appreciate your tuning in. Reminder that this proceeding will also be recorded, so it'll be available for later viewing later in the week. But thank you for being online with us here tonight. We're going to take a brief intermission now, and we'll do some changeover of tables and chairs. And at 7 p.m., we will start up our Granville Village Council candidate forum at 7. So don't go away. Come back at 7 p.m. We'll be right here. Thank you.